everybody, this is Christine Bertram, and I'm coming to you live from the Hive here in Fond du Lac, Wisconsin, and I am also live with these two. The twins are at their watering hole, trying to get some water out of the cup. I suppose I should do this for you, Hunky, huh? I'm always a little hesitant about putting the water on while I have a computer sitting right there, but you know, I think that it'll be okay. I can trust them. You guys are gonna keep an eye on them for me, right? Until they get sick of it. So coffee cheers. There's straight up coffee in here. It's early. You guys, I don't usually do a 10 o'clock class. And when I do, I usually have coffee because I think that I usually need it until about 3 o'clock in the afternoon. And I got it in my nice Be Happy Stampers mug. Whoop, whoop. This was one of the top 20 gifts for, I think, 2 years ago. So that was pretty cool. So I got my Be Happy Stampers shirt on, you guys. It's time to do laundry. I've gotten through almost all my shirts in my pile, and now I'm pulling out team shirts. You'll have that when you need to do laundry, right? So all bright and cheerful and yellow today. Hello, Jamie Kirkpatrick. Hi, Connie Moore. Just got back from the post office, sending cards back to me. Thank you so much. I'm so happy we figured that out. I do realize that I do end up signing people up twice. It happens because when I have my purple book, it's all paper and we write names down. And if we get you on the name, we get you on the class list early on. And then at the end, sometimes I don't catch that you've already been signed up. I sign you up again. And so that's exactly what happened. So you got 2 kits. Normally I catch that in shipping because I keep my eyes on everything that leaves. I'm the last one that sees what is, we check it off. And we checked you off twice, and and that just happened. I think that's maybe the second time that's ever happened that we shipped out 2 kits to somebody. Hi, Debbie Gass. Hi, Randy Schultz. Hello, Sherry Everett. And there's Patty Baumgartner. Welcome and then Bigger Tigger made it. You guys can't see him because Hunky Noodle is in the way, but Bigger Tigger's back there now. Okay, so hey, the gang's all here. Don't forget to hit the thumbs up. I really appreciate that. When you guys hit the thumbs up, it shows that there's people like it, and then it shares it with your friends, and then the video gets further along. So that's awesome. I appreciate that. You can also subscribe to my YouTube channel, which is Cards by Christine, and then you can see lots of creative content. I would like to officially announce that I reached my 1,000th video. I think it happened on, I would have to say Monday, because I looked at it on Monday and it said 1K. But it's very possible I had it late last week too if it doesn't round up, and I don't know if it rounds up. So I hit my 1,000th video on YouTube since, let's say I started doing lives in March of 2020 when the world shut down, and so now we've got 1,000 videos out there. So that's super cool. Hello, Mary Schreiber. Hello, Marilyn Durbin. And oh, he's gone. So that means we can shut the water off so we don't waste it. We have a share a recipe, create a card, inspire others. We've been doing this class for about 2.5 years now. We started in January of 2023, which is when I started working with Rose Coleman, my colleague in Canada. So if you're a fellow Canadian to Rose and you're looking for a demonstrator in Canada, don't hesitate to reach out to Rose. She is an amazing demonstrator. She is just she's the genuine article. So she's super sweet, and she would love to help you with your crafting needs. This class came about because I started doing the Technique Club class with her, and I bought a binder to put all my recipe cards in. And what happened was it came with recipe cards that were for cooking. And I can't remember who it was, but they came up with the idea to send me a recipe card, that I should send the recipe cards out to people who request them, and then people will send me the recipe cards with a sample card, and then this is what came up. So that's super cool. That's what we're gonna be doing. I have a book that I started. I don't know if I have it right here. Let me just see here if it's this one or if it's a different one. I used to show this off every time, and my book, it is this one. I haven't put cards in it for a little while, but I started to keep track. I'll just drop this down. I started to keep track. So this is the book I originally bought for my cards with Rose. I've since moved all that stuff to a different one, but this is what I started to keep track, and this book just got way too big. So now I have just as many sitting over on the side here, all in a pile. But Mary Lemke was our first one, and I should have put dates on these, but this was January of 2023. And what I did is I saved the cards that Mary made, and I saved the card that I made with it. So I have all of these recipes, and the original cards. And look at that, my gem even came off, and it needs to go right there. Okay, stick, little guy, stick. Okay, and it's still missing another one. But all of these are the cards and the recipes that we've done. This was through, I couldn't tell you which was this last one here. I didn't even put this last one in the plastic, but yeah, so I started to collect all these recipes, and again, this is probably like a year and a half's worth, and I have another set. I need to figure out, like, the binder doesn't work so much anymore. As you can see, I need a different idea to store that. So yeah, but fun stuff. So this share a recipe, create a card, inspire others is the brainchild of that whole Technique Club class, getting recipe cards. And what it is my customer base or my community will send me the recipe. And so this one today is from Jean Terwilliger, and she's from Everett, Pennsylvania. She sent me a recipe, which I already did share, you guys. Hi, Mary Lemke. Thanks, Randy Schultz. Hi, Heather Thompson. Yeah, it's crazy to think that many videos are out there. So she sent me a recipe, which I've already shared, and I can share with you where I shared it. And there's on my website, especially for those that are new to me, if you go to my events calendar, hi Mimi, here but at work, so maybe you catch the replay. Perfect, that always works. And so when you go to today's date, which is the 23rd, my phone doesn't let me see it, so I always have to twist it like this and then scroll back up, and then there it is. And in here, this is where you can catch the replay. And then if you want a recipe card or a recipe form for yourself, you just click here, and it takes you into a Google form where you would sign up to get it, and I'll send it in the mail to you. And then you can catch her recipe right down here. So I've got it photographed. So now you guys don't necessarily have to do a screenshot of this. So you've got this, and you can always blow it up like this and take a look. Now, Jean set rules for us, you guys, and she had 10 rules for us, okay? And we'll go through that momentarily. And then she's got her measurements, instructions, all right? So that's where you can get this. I also saved that information. I saved it in the Facebook event, and it's also in the email that I sent about the event. Now, I would like to say I'm super excited because Janice Ormiston sent me hers already. So I've got Janice's, I have it photographed, and she sent me a really pretty card that is from the Regal Flora Let's Just Stamp from last October. And she said, thank you again for inspiring my love of card making. You are truly a blessing in my life. Well, I'm so happy you're in my life too, Janice. It's awesome. I appreciate it. And she sent me some stamps too, which is super cool. So I will get these photographed, and then I will have that out on the event for next month. All right. So we've got that ready to go. Yay. And then after that, I don't have anybody on the docket. So I know that there are a few recipe cards out yet lingering. I feel like the ones that have been lingering for over a year might not ever come back in, but I just sent out another one to Jenna Helms, and maybe she'll get me hers. Or if anybody else fills out the form, please follow up with me. I don't check the database where that information goes into daily. I don't. I might even not check it monthly. It's all of a sudden somebody says, I sent you a recipe card. Oh, or a request for a recipe card. So I say, oh, good, I'll go look for it. All right. So I don't always catch it. So it's great when you guys can tell me that you did submit for the form. I'll get it out then. So, all right. All right. Hello, Feline. Yay, watching live while you're driving to the chiropractor. I feel like I should go to the chiropractor. My back has been out of whack for a little while, and I think it has to do all with my foot. So it's funny how they all are connected. Okay, let me flip down here. I want to share just a couple things with you. I still have, in case you're looking for, the Designer Series paper samplers from the Spring Mini Catalog that featured like beautiful bokeh, Friends of the Ocean, mixed media florals. I do have like maybe 10 of this one left. And I also have the Botanical Textures Annual Catalog, Lovely Garden, Blooming Impressions, Weekend Adventures. This one was from the Annual Catalog with new stuff. I have about a dozen of those left, something like 10 or 12 left of each one of these. So I like to still show them off when I have classes in case you're new to me. This is where you glue all the cardstock and the diner papers onto the white pages, and then you end up with a really cool book that helps you with your crafting needs. So I do have a few of those left in case you're in the market for one of those. I also do have 2 paper shares left. Now it's just a paper share with no cards. I can also connect you with Amanda to get a Palooza in case you guys are still looking for a paper Palooza. The paper Palooza was a paper pack with 21 card kits. some people just wanted the designer series paper. So I have 2 of this left, and I have about 2 of these ribbons left, the sampler of the ribbon. I just looked through my bucket just before on the way in here. I thought, oh, I might as well share that with you, because in case anybody was looking for a sampling of all these awesome ribbons that were just introduced in March and May, now's your time to get a sampling. So I have 2 left of each of those, and today starts free shipping. If you place an order of $75 or more between today, tomorrow, and Friday, you can get 2 things. First, with a $75 order, you could get free shipping, which is awesome. Who doesn't love free shipping? Like, it makes you feel like it's like endless shopping. I don't know what it is about shipping. But when it's free, it's easy. It makes you feel like, oh, I'm not paying extra for shipping. So that's great. It makes it feel like you're actually going to the store and picking something up and taking it home with you, except for with Stampin' Up, you still have to order it and it takes some days to ship it to you, but still it's free shipping. I love free shipping, okay? And because of free shipping, I was able to reprice my cardstock share, and I was able to open back up the 2-tone cardstock share. So I have 2 different shares that are going on now that I'm hosting. It was an extra push to help me get to my $1 million in sales a little bit sooner, and maybe just in time for my party that I'm planning next month. I know the party's a little premature because I really had a goal of September 30th, but you know, that's when it worked into my schedule. So needless to say, I was able to reprice the cardstock. So 8.5 by 11 cardstock. I dropped it all by $4, which was basically 10%, 11% of the cost, which is awesome. So you could look at my events calendar for today and you can find all that information. I'm delighted, you guys. I had, as of this morning, like 30 sheets were ordered. 30 sets of sheets were ordered. So I was able to go through Hunky. Oh, he's like, Mom, you have your stuff in my way. Hang on, buddy. Let's go like that. And you got a little spot to sleep, okay? He likes to nestle into my light box and like curl into a ball. So that's awesome. So what I did this morning at 1 a.m. my time, which is midnight Mountain time when the sale started, I was able to order 2 of each set of cardstock. And so I will offer that pricing on the reduced price of the cardstock share until I fill up all 48 sets. So I'm at 30, so there's 18 more. So if anybody's looking for a sampling of all the different Stampin' Up cardstocks, just reach out to me or go to my events calendar for today. We can get you signed up for it. So that's pretty cool. You could pick 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 sets, whatever you want. I made it so that you could pick the share how you wanted it. And then on top of it, the 2-tone cardstock is no longer 20%, but I was able to reprice it with the free shipping instead. And so I did fill up my 2-tone cardstock share. I think on Monday I had 4 left or something like that. Those 4 were gone by Monday night. And then I repriced everything on Monday, and I've already had 4 people sign up for it at the new pricing, which is so cool. So I was able to go ahead and order 1 more set of all the 2-tone cardstock at the free shipping price, and that leaves me with 8 more sets so far at that. Now, if I have more than 8 more people sign up for it, I will order another set and we'll keep going. So yeah, because I know that not everybody sees everything when it's first published, and sometimes it's 2 weeks later and somebody reaches out to me and says, they said, oh, do you still have this? I'm like, oh, I do, yay. Okay, so yay. Hi, Donna Palazzola. All right, it is a beautiful day in Michigan. So we had rain this morning, cloudy, overcast right now. The EAA, Experimental Aircraft Association, the EAA is in Oshkosh, Wisconsin. It happens every year. Planes and people come in from all over the world for the EAA, and it's in my backyard. It's 20 miles from me or 20 minutes from me. And right now you can hear, like you can't hear it, but I can hear it. Planes are always flying around. And I have, in my 45 and a half years of existence, have never been to the EAA with it being in my backyard. I've always been told, don't go there, stay away. It's crazy, it's nut house. It's like they bring in 140,000 people over the course of this time period, this week. So I have a really, really good friend. If you guys recall, if you were watching me back in October, November time period, I went to San Diego for my best friend from high school. I have a couple best friends from high school, but one of them got married, and her husband is a pilot. And so for the last 7 or 8, since 2014, they've been going to the EAA, and they've invited us to go. and it's never worked with our schedule. So yesterday after Tyler got done with work, we cleaned up and we went up to the AA and we couldn't even get in. So it's so funny, you guys. They thought that we could buy tickets. And so there's a night show, or a twilight show is what they call it, where they have planes with people parachuting out with flames coming out of their feet. Don't worry, they're safe. And they have little jumper planes. I don't know. They had a show. And they thought you could buy tickets until 8. We got there at 8 and they stopped selling tickets at 7. So we we couldn't get in, and we sat in the grass. Thankfully, we brought a blanket so we could sit on the grass on a nollie the ditch. And we got to watch a little bit, right? So we didn't get to go in, but we saved some money that way. And so it really only cost $10 for parking, and we got to go up and hang out with my friends. And they're here through next week, Tuesday. And we get to see them once or twice, maybe 3 times a year when we visit. They usually come home to visit family. So it was an experience. I think next year Tyler is determined. He said, get out your calendar, please, for next year, and let's go camping, because they have so many people camping for this event. And my friend, her parents have a camper, and so they set up shop last week Friday already to block off their area, and they camp. And so next year Tyler wants to camp. So yeah, I had already put my skeleton calendar together for all of next year, and now I had to remove mystery night for that night and move it back up to earlier in the month, but that's okay. I can do that because I guess I am in control of my schedule. Now I said to him, now you have to get off that day though. And then the next day. So, all right, all's good. Hi, Leslie McMinn. You filled out the form for a recipe card. Wonderful. Okay, so I will keep it on my radar to put that in with your August class shipment box, if that's okay with you. Hi, Julie Bontringer. Wow, I'm early. Yes, yeah, I know. For you, it's 8 o'clock, so it's way early for you. All right, let's see who else I missed here. Hi, Sherry Martin. And there's Patty Wright. Hello, Carrie Sheridan. Unusually cooler weather than this summer, and you've been very happy to have, you would be very happy to have 70s rather than 90s. Me too. 90s are fine, but I would take 80s actually would be my best number. Hi, Mary Novak. All right, so the shares look like this, in case you're wondering. I have Pat Bishop's here. She ordered a 6x6, and so we have all the 6x6 in here. I have Stacy Ray's here, so she ordered 6x12 and one set of them, and so this is what the 6x12 looks like. And then I have here Julie Block, and she ordered one set of the 12x12 like this, and she's a porch pickup, so that's pretty awesome. So if you wanted to order 2 sets, it would be double, right? And each one of these would be double if you ordered 2 sets. If you ordered triple, it would be that big. If you ordered 4 of them, it would be that big. I don't know, 4 of them, that. So I could accommodate whatever you want. And honestly, people, if they wanted 5 sets of these, I could have done that too. I can do whatever. It's easy for everybody. Hi, Julie Damaris. I'm just going to set this over here for now, you guys, so that's out of the way. One moment, please. All right. So, I know you guys, before I read the recipe card, I think we have a pretty easy, nice card that's not going to take us very long. And with that being said, if I have cards to share with you from designing yesterday, I know you would want to see them, right? So, I think I'm going to share some cards with you before we start class. We have, I think I've already shown you on, what is today? Today's Wednesday, the 23rd. So Monday, Monday I did Let's Just Stamp, and I would have shown you the Let's Just Stamp cards on Monday because we moved class to 3. So I have these in case you missed Monday class. Hi, Sherry Everett. I filled out the online form. Okay, you know what? With that being said, I don't want to forget this. So it's SCI, Share, Create, Inspire, Recipes. Sherry, I'm going to look for them, and Leslie, so that we will get those. Now, if you guys are okay with it, I will send those in your August packages. I have been finding that I'd rather ship things in your packages in a box because I feel like you're going to get it, where sometimes the stuff for the mail system, they get hosed up these days. So I'd rather send it with the box if you guys are okay with that. Since we are set for August, then you guys would have the whole month, the rest of August, to get it to me for September. Okay, So this one's called Label Me Grateful and Charming. And this is the ink, paper, scissors. So we used the other half of the Painterly Pears paper. So we ended up using this green pattern. We made this into a more masculine card, right? We don't get enough masculine cards. So we went for the greens and the browns on this one. And all you need is a sentiment. For this one, we used the 2 flowers from Floral Charm, or Charming Day, I should say, Charming Day. So we used those 2 flowers. So that was Let's Just Stamp. And I did share that with you guys on Monday, but just in case you missed it, here it is. Now, yesterday, Diane and I, we started at 11:30 after my eye doctor appointment. And that was good. Once a year, get the eye doctor appointment done. And we worked until 4:40, I think. And so the beautiful motifs is what we're featuring for the ink, paper, scissors for next month. And that is going to be a doozy for you guys. A good doozy. Not a bad doozy, a good doozy. So what we did is we have a hard time working with, we don't have a hard time working with 12 by 12, 6 by 6 paper. The hard part about it is I want to try to use all the one piece from every, I want to use it each piece of paper at least once. Words are hard, you guys. It's morning. My brain is not functioning on all 8 cylinders right now. So you'll have to forgive my not fluid movement of my mouth and my brain working together. Okay. I just have to say that right now. Tyler says I yodify words. I will say sentences and words backwards when I'm not thinking and talking properly. Okay. So I'm putting that disclaimer out there right now. Judgment-free zone. Okay. I am on schedule to get the Palooza in August with I Want It All kits. Yes, you certainly are. There are a few people for August that are getting the Palooza. The bulk was mailed out between June and July. I have a couple July ones here. We needed to make up a few more embellishment shares, and so we needed 5 and we made 5. I believe that they're gone. Oh, there might be 1 embellishment share left. I should look that up really quick, but I'll look that up later so I know by tomorrow night. But yeah, so we have a few left of the Paloozas to mail out this month. There's maybe 5 for August and maybe 3 for September. So we're winding down on the Palooza. Now, there are some left. I have Amanda Waldhart on standby. She has 10, and I think we had 4 sign up through me. So I think she has 6 left in case anybody else wants to get the Palooza. So yes, but we could, Feline, you're gonna have quite the box. It'll be awesome. So back to ink, paper, scissors. There's 12 unique pages of designer series paper, and I always love to use each pattern at least once, and that's not going to happen with this one. It was too hard. There's one print in there that I couldn't be in love with, and I didn't know what to even do with it. So we left that one kind of on the wayside. Maybe somebody will make something pretty with it and show us how pretty it can be, but sometimes it's just you just gotta let things go. And we had so many other cards that we were working with, and so what we did is we ended up with 6 kitted cards. Now, ink, paper, scissors is generally only 4. So you guys are getting 2 bonus card kits in the ink, paper, scissors for next month. And on top of it, in the tutorial, so you guys somebody's gonna ask me about this later. They're gonna be like, well, the tutorial has 3 extra card pictures and measurements in there. Where are my card kits? I get that every time when I do something like this. But what we did is we decided to make 3 extra cards just to put into the tutorial to help you show how you could use the paper. So I think in the end, the tutorial will have 11 pieces of paper used. And again, there's one that I just didn't know what to do with. So then that one's gonna be your homework assignment. And so, all right, without further ado, here are the ink, paper, scissors for next month. It's called Beautiful Gallery, I think. It features that beautiful, it's like Beautiful Gallery. Oh, I don't know. Words are hard. Pressed flowers or motifs. One moment, please. I have a beekeeper's guide to help me with coming up with words when I can't figure them out. This guy. Beautiful Gallery Suite, and it features the gallery blooms and the beautiful motifs. You're going to get the gems and the ribbon in your goodie bag along with a 1/4 pack of the designer series paper. There, that's what's going on. And we did make, I think 3 of these are fun folds, you guys. Debbie's not a morning person either. Just watched the Palooza introduction last night. Getting ready to make some cards. Wonderful. Yay, yay, yay. All right, so this is one of the fun folds. So we got a card from, Lisa LaFramboise gave us a card in my swap actually. And we cased her card. What's super cool about this is you open the flap like that, and then it goes like this. Super cool. All right, pretty paper. So we've got a lot of different occasions for these cards. This one says you're destined for great things and congratulations. And then this one we kept simple because you can't have 6 crazy fun fold cards for a class. Diane goes bonkers by the end of the night, and so do I. So we kept this one more simple. And this one's just a piece of it. We let the designer paper speak for itself. So simple card, easy card, letting the DSP talk. This one is a regular A2 size card too. And we used one of these, the paper from here, where we had the flowers on one side. You'll catch that. So pay attention to these flowers here. We're calling those the beige roses. We made this one just a note. Now this one, we cased a card from Lori Krause, which was really cool. And we made this, it's a fun fold. And that flips up like this. And I still have to stamp happy birthday in there. And that's this guy. So all the die cutting is done for you. You just need a sentiment. All these so far, just sentiments are what you need. Now, we made a wedding card too, and we made it as a pocket card. And so it opens like that. Nice mossy meadow. And then the back side is this, really pretty. And if you recall, I said to remember this piece over here. That guy is the continuation of that piece of designer paper. And so this is what we have for the pocket that goes on the inside, and then the back is really pretty. Super cool. All right, so that's one of your fun folds. It's doing a pocket card. And then Connie's a morning person, up by what time? By 4 a.m. Oh my goodness. Love getting everything done early. Yeah, so I'm a night owl. It's in my nature. I would stay up till 4 a.m. easily, Connie, and sleep till 10 a.m. That would be my bag of bones. All right, so there's that one. And last, we have this little guy. We cased this from a card from Bonnie Schmitz. Changed up the front a little bit, and then we added the inside that has this kind of special little kind of accordion type fold. So it goes like that. So it just gives it something unique on the inside for people to look at. So that should, when we fold it, it should go like that. There we go. So we cased Bonnie's card, and we didn't tweak it a lot, but we changed up like the ribbon and the front part of it, but we kind of kept her bases and the mats like she had them. Her card was just gorgeous the way it was. So, but we thought, well, there's 6 cards, and then you'll get a bonus 3 in your tutorial. So this was another one where you could just showcase the designer paper, adding a little label. We still have to get our little label on this. And there's gonna be one more card. There's a big pot with flowers. We're gonna do a card with that. So you'll have 10 cards in the tutorial, but 6 of them will be kitted. All right, so that's what we have for ink, paper, scissors. And to roll into what I chose to use for share a card recipe for class today, SCI, what we're gonna do is I'm using the Charming Day suite of products. So if you guys missed it, the Stamp-a-Stack that is coming up next month in August is a fun fold Stamp-a-Stack. And we have a wedding card here. And I think this is the paper I'm gonna use for class today. That's what's inspiring me right now. We made a wedding card. And so for this one, you'll make 12 cards, and they're all fun folds. Ooh, I gotta find these seed packets. Yeah, I was gonna buy everybody seed packets to put in this card. And I want them to match. All right, so here's this, and then when you open it up, it's got a little spot here to put a seed packet or a check or a business card or whatever you want to put in it, but it's a pocket card, and you'll make 2 of that one, and you have enough paper to match your envelopes. Now, for those that are customers to me, this class is $55 plus shipping, and for my team, if you're on my team and you're a customer or team member, however you want to do it, you could either pay for the class $55 plus shipping, or because you're on my team, you have the option of doing the team pricing. So for $22, which is the cost for all the kits, you would have to have your own designer paper, your own gems, your own envelopes, and your own ribbons. So there's a vanilla ribbon here, and then there's the white and the Misty Moonlight ribbon. So by doing team pricing, you're buying your own supplies. And then there's a little Velcro guy here, and then this guy goes up. Okay, so I'm doing a little precursor to the showcase. You guys are seeing everything. And then this guy, you're seeing everything that we have designed already for the month of August. I think we have 2 classes left to design for. The Florals, the Bloom, and we also have the monthly class to design for. And that's happening tomorrow is the plan. So, all right, so this is a great segue. This is the Floral Day, Charming Day. It's one of the new online exclusives that's just launched here. So it's called the Floral Charm Suite. And One of the things, so Michelle Foreign, I hope you were listening to that because you had asked me what the difference between the Be Happy Stampers pricing and the non-Be Happy Stampers pricing is. Basically, the price is for the pack of cards and you supply your own materials. Okay, perfect. So then Michelle, in your email to me, you just have to tell me if you want Be Happy Stamper pricing and you're supplying your things, or if you're going to want me to supply all of them and include the whole set for you, including this pack of paper and the gems and the ribbons. So this is a great segue into this class because I chose to work with this Floral Charm Suite. Everything less, there's a rule here, we can't have dies or embossing folders, so I'm not going to be using the dies here, and I also chose not to use this ribbon. I chose to do a different ribbon. But Stampin' Up! Makes it so easy for you to have coordinating products to work with, so they come up with these suites, and these suites include awesome and amazing designer series paper, ribbon and embellishments, a stamp set and dies, and then sometimes an extra accessory. Like in this case, there's iridescent bags, and you could use those on your cards. This one, they had the ribbon, the gems. There's another suite here for the painterly pairs, which we featured with class on Monday. And that one had the ribbon, the gems, dies, all that good stuff. So what are the crowns? What are the crowns? What crowns? Oh man, you're going to have to... I don't know what crowns you're talking about, Joy. Hello, by the way. I don't know what crowns. You guys, somebody help me out. I don't know what crowns we're talking about. Did I miss that I showed off crowns and I don't know that? So at the end of the class, we're going to look at Jean's cards. And what we're going to do is read through this really quick. So she wanted to go back to the days of when we start stamping. We are all new stampers once, buying just a couple of colors of cardstock in cardstocks and ink, DSP and embellishments that used or complemented those colors, and limited tools. So that's very true. When we start off, we have a budget, and it's usually not a lot because it's expensive to start a new hobby, and not everybody has the funds to be able to buy all of the things. So you start off slow, and usually it is just that. You're getting a few cardstocks, a little ink, a couple embellishments, something, right? Limited tools. Not everyone can buy a die cutter right away. So she decided to challenge herself to remember those days and design a card based on those parameters. So she set rules. Who makes comments and shows up on her live videos? Oh, ha, ha, ha. Hi, Kenzie. So I'm glad you guys know what's going on. So I get it. There's a crown. I'll be honest with you guys. These crowns showed up for people. Like, what was it, in the last week or two? I have not ever seen the crowns beforehand. And so tap the crown symbol at the top. So a few of you guys have crowns here, and I didn't know that. So, okay, so they're top fans, right? Perfect. Okay, so Joy, you have a crown. Wonderful. So Feline, look at you go, girl. You're number 1, Sherry's number 2, and Joy is number 3. And so I love it. There you go. I don't know what the XP, the 75 XP means, or the 50 XP. I guess that probably means something, but there we go. Hi, Matt. Okay, did you see my notes on the paper?
I will. I'm going to bring them in here. Is that okay?
That's absolutely perfect. Okay, so Chatty Cathy's in the chat. We chat a lot and are very active in her chats. Thumbs up, everyone. All right, perfect. Oh, you didn't. You're fine, Joy. We're good. I don't mind. You guys, we're all good. I don't ever mind questions and answers. We learn stuff when people ask questions. All right. So you may only use one stamp set. Okay, so I picked Charming Day. Okay. All right, I picked Charming Day. Now that I'm looking at it, I think I picked it because I knew that there were focal images in it and there were sentiments. So that's always great. So one of the things that Diane and I try to do when we are designing for our Let's Just Stamp class or picking out sets for it, we like to have sets that are like this, where you have focal images and you have words. Now, for our ink paper, or for our Let's Just Stamp next month, we also added in Label Me Grateful to add some different words in, right? So we did do feature 2, one with words, and we used these flowers. So we tag teamed it, right? So I believe that's what I'm going to use. The XP might be how it affects your algorithm. Okay. Hello, Sherry Ott. You cannot use dies or embossing folders. Boom. Okay, I didn't bring any with me. I didn't even carry the die cutting machine over here, so I'm thankful, Jean. Thank you for that. You may use a maximum of 2 cardstock colors, one of which is your basic white, vanilla, or beige. Now, all right, good to know. So I had it in my head because this is the piece of paper that was on the top. I'm not certain that I'm sold on this, but this is kind of what I'm feeling. I'm feeling Cajun Craze with Vanilla for this pattern right here, right? So that's kind of what's in my back head, my background. All DSP used must come from the same pack. Okay, so that's fine. I know I'm going to use Floral Charm. What's so awesome about Floral Charm is the backs and the fronts really match nicely. You guys, if you're just started off stamping and you need a great pack of designer paper and you love flowers, this is your pack. Also, Floral and Bloom is another great one. Okay, but I think I just used that. You may use a maximum of 2 colors of ink, okay? Well, so what I did is I pulled out Cajun Craze and Espresso because I thought, okay, that will work, hopefully. You may use a maximum of 2 colors of Stampin' Blends. Well, I don't know if I'll even use Stampin' Blends because in the next one it says you may use watercolor pencils or markers. You may use as many of the colors you wish as long as they're from one pack. So I have here 2 packs of watercolor pencils. And in my head, I thought to myself, I would probably opt for this one because it has coral and old olive. And those 2 would look great for coloring in leaves and flowers. This one, not really. So I'm not worried. So I feel, okay, that's great. So I'm going to use potentially this for some coloring of my flowers. And then you may use either a blending brush or a dauber. Well, I don't know if I need to do that. I guess we'll figure out when we get so far. We'll read further. You may use a maximum of 1 ribbon color and 1 embellishment package. Well, what's super cool about this is that this embellishment package has these petal pinky gems, which would probably look really nice on here. Potentially these dark secret sea navy ones would look good too. So I'm going to use this for my embellishment package. Now, for ribbon, I'm not quite certain what I'm going to do. For safety measures, Mary Lemke says hello, Annette.
Hi, Mary.
Hi, Mary. For this, I thought this was safe because I have a 1 pack and it has 5 different colors. And I could potentially opt for either vanilla or crumb cake, but I'm not sold on this. It's going to depend on what I am making. So I did pull this gold cording out. We used this, it was from last year. I think it's retired now, but I thought to myself, well, you know, a lot of us have retired product at home and it's nice to pull it out and use it. And this really pretty gold might make it classier. So I'm not going to use both. I'm going to use one or the other. This was, there was some gold twine. We did a little bit festive Stamp-A-Stack last November, and there was another version of it, I think, rolled up on a spool. It's the same stuff. This was just an older version that I happened to have, and I caught my eye as I was leaving my craft room upstairs. All right, so let's see here. I really love this idea. It's good. It's really great, Jean. We love the idea. It's getting us back to our roots. All right. You may use you may use any adhesive alone or in any combination, and you may use Stella too. So we have our rules out of the way. I feel like I will probably follow them because I've got everything in front of me. The only thing I need to do is decide on a ribbon when the time comes. All right. This reminds me of craft roulette pattern parameters. Yes. How about a punch? It doesn't say anything about a punch. And I don't think Jean is watching. I think she's at work right now. I'm going to make the executive decision to say no punches either because of number 2. No dies or embossing folders or punches. Now, you can make your own rules, you guys. I'll be honest with you. If you want to use a punch and you have a punch at home that coordinates with the stamp set because you bought a bundle, go for it. I'm not going to tell you no. And I also have the rationale side of it that punches are a lot more affordable than investing in a die cutting machine or dies. When you buy a punch, it's usually between $15 to $25. I don't know. They used to be 15 and now they're sometimes like 25. So there's somewhere like that. But that's a lot more affordable than buying dies that are at $35 and a die cutting machine. So I guess, Debbie, I'm on the fence. And for me to stop having splinters, I'm going to let you decide, and I'm not going to worry about it anymore. So if you want to use a punch, go for it. She didn't say anything, so I guess it's limbo. I guess the punch is up to you to decide. And for those couple reasons, I think you'd be safe using a punch. But if you want to even challenge yourself more, fussy cut it out, okay? And like punches are great for circles, for labels, but for this, I read through the next set of guidelines. you could probably easily cut a square or a rectangle too to put your sentiment on. Okay, but good question. This is a cool idea. Perfect. Okay, so I need to take some coffee to wake up a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is read through some of this to get an idea of what we're doing with you, okay? So we need a cardstock 1 that is 8.5 by 5.5 tall, scored at 4 1/4 on the long side. Okay, perfect, you guys. That's our normal A2 card. It just opens on the side, or it could be horizontal, I guess. If your card base is other than white, vanilla, or basic beige, then cut up inside panel at 4 by 5 1/4. I can handle that. We got an inside. That will be our vanilla. And then we need 2 layers on the outside. One, it says coordinating cardstock 2. That is also 5 1/4 by 4. It can be DSP. She wrote it here. So if you have a designer paper that matches really nicely, you could go that route. We have a layer 2 that is a little bit smaller. It could be the pattern paper or designer paper, and it's 3.75 by 5 tall. Now, that's if we're going to do a vertical card. It just depends on how I'm planning on this flower set. But if these flowers look better with a horizontal card, I might adjust my pattern paper to be horizontal. So I'm just going to read through this and kind of figure this out. All right, Feline, I hope your chiropractor. So when I think of the chiropractor, the song comes into my head. Pop, pop, fizz. No, pop, 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 crack, crack. Oh, what a relief it is. Not like pop, pop, fizz, fizz. Oh, like Alka-Seltzer. I think of pop, pop, crack, crack. Oh, whatever. Because usually my chiropractor, I go in and I feel better coming out because she does an amazing job. And the guy before her did even a better job. So usually it's pop, pop, crack, crack. Oh, what a relief it is. Now you guys won't forget that. Fold and burnish your card base. If you're using white vanilla or basic beige and are not using an inside panel, I recommend decorating your inside panel before starting the outer layers in case you need to flip your card base inside out. Okay, perfect. If your layer 1 is a cardstock, you may consider adding color along the edges using a blending brush or dauber. That's why she pulled that in. And you can give it an embossed look by wrinkling the cardstock and smoothing it back by using your scissors along the edge, or like a bone folder, you can give it a ragged edge. So there are things we can do to a cardstock. And in the beginning, when Diane and I were doing Let's Just Stamp, we really kept it that we did not use dies, we did not use embossing folders, and we did not use punches. And we've been doing that now, that class. We're on our, 2021. We're on our 4-year anniversary of doing the Let's Just Stamp class. It was July of 2021 when we started that. And if you guys go back to some of those early videos of Let's Just Stamp, we never used dies, embossing folders, or punches. And we did that rumpling technique where you take your paper, like let's say you have your cardstock, and some people hate this. You would take your cardstock like this, and you would rumple it up. Thanks, Lisa, I'm glad you like it. And then what you would do is take your bone folder, and you would smooth it out. And we called it the rumpled paper technique. And you still got this really cool look that you embossed it. Like you could run that through the embossing folder and it might look like that, depending on which embossing folder you got, right? Like if they could design one like that. So that is how you could give yourself a textured look of designer paper or your pattern cardstock. See, guys, words are hard. So, all right. The other thing she's talking about is you could take your scissors and make jagged edges. Now, like I don't generally do this, but I think what you could do is fray your edges and somehow give them that roughed up look like that. I don't do that very often, and that's just copy paper, so it's not going to work so good. If you are not adding ribbon to this layer, you can adhere it to your base. All right, then we're going to flip this over. We're going to read through this, because once we read through it, we're going to just go to town. We're already in town, but that's good. Depending on your DSP or cardstock, you may stamp your focal images and sentiment directly onto this layer. Alternatively, you can stamp on scraps and fussy cut to adhere onto the layer. All right, so you've got options. You can use scraps, or you can stamp right onto your layer. Color your images using ink, watercolor pencils, markers, or blends. If desired, add ribbon and adhere this layer onto layer 1. You may also add color to the edge of this layer with a blending brush or dauber. Your inside panel, add a sentiment and or images or a strip of DSP. You may color your image if desired. If you added color to the edges of your layer 1 or 2, you may want to do the same with your inside panel. Adhere this to the inside of your base. Add embellishments and Stella, and you're done. Thank you for stamping with Jean and me. All right, so you guys ready? I'm gonna pull out my paper here, this designer paper. I have this in my head. I wanna use this one. I do, I really have it in my head because I felt like this Cajun Craze with the vanilla would be an absolute charm. Ha ha ha, get it? Charm to work with? Haha, no pun intended. But let's just show you guys this in case you are not seeing this paper before. Hi, buddy. Stretchy McGee's. What's up? Hey. You look out the window and find some squirrel action? All right, so that one's really pretty. That one is super pretty. Now, what's really cool about this designer paper, I think this is probably one of my top 5 packs of all time of paper from Stampin' Up that I absolutely love. I love what they did with the front is coordinating with the back. And you have really pretty flowers on the front, and you have an awesome coordinating paper on the back. So those people who like to make cards, fun folds, where you see the front and the back at the same time, which is kind of what we did with a couple of these cards here. This one in particular, this is the front, and then the peacock is the back, right? So it's really cool when you can use the front and the back. And I don't know if we did it on any other one, but that, yeah, that's the only one. Oh, here, this outer is, this blackberry is designer paper. And you can see that the inside is the other side, which is a really pretty coordinating paper. All right, so that's what I love about all this paper. And I'll show you the rest of this pack really quick so that you guys can fall in love with it like I did. All right, so then you have that paper, which I know the leaves are brown, but I feel like I absolutely love the berry burst blackberry look with the pecan. And the back is berry burst. She's a vegetarian. Okay, it's Mary Malo. No, it's Mary Mo. And that's the song I'm thinking of. All right, so this one right here. And then you have peach on the back, right? All right, super cool. Matchy, front and back. This one is your old Mossy Meadow with a little bit of berries and Cajun-y oranges. But on the back you have Mossy Meadow, right? So it matches front and back. This one is so pretty. And then it has blue on the back. So the front and back match. And the last one is this guy, which is the last card I just showed you from our pile. And it matches back and front. So they're all amazing. I could have used any one of these. But for some reason in my head, I picked this Cajun-y one. But they all would have worked just fine. So I have here that I think what I'm going to do is, oh man, so now this is where it's in my head. I was reading this and it says that we need to stamp, okay. We need to stamp our, so we have a card base, right? And then we need a layer of either cardstock, but it could also be DSP. So what I was thinking of was potentially having this be my layer and then this matting on it, on top of it. But now I've gotten to think my flower, because she said in her instructions here that this could be stamped on. But if I'm choosing, it says, depending on your DSP or cardstock, you may stamp your focal image and sentiment directly onto this layer. Alternatively, you can stamp and then die cut, fussy cut them, not die cut. So I'm trying to think here, if I go with this route, though, if I stamp this, fussy cut it out, and put it on here, it's gonna be busy, busy, busy. Too much busyness going on. So, I'm a crafter, you guys, right? I can change my mind just like anybody else can in a hot second. I just wanna see what else there was, if there was a lighter one. I'm not feeling the whole stamping right on to the designer paper unless it's lighter, because all of these are darker. Then that leads me to believe, would I stamp on here? But I think I lose my whole pattern that I was wanting. I was wanting to somehow showcase this designer paper. Now I'm thinking, Lincoln, how I can make it work. Because I wonder, that's not gonna show off very nicely. Oh, it's not bad. Okay, okay, before I cut any paper, I'm gonna stamp my flower because I wanna see how that looks in front of the, I'm gonna grab a scrap of vanilla. I don't know if that's gonna be big enough. Let me see here. I'm gonna stamp this flower. It's gonna be big enough, wonderful. And I don't wanna get the cart in front of the horse, but because we have all the rules and instructions, we're gonna see what this flower looks like stamped. We're gonna color it, and then we're gonna put it in front of that and see what it looks like. And if it looks okay, we might go with that. Okay, like that. And if it looks good, we'll go with it. And because I really think that's so pretty. And I don't mind the vanilla matte there. I was thinking in my head of having it matte on the Cajun Craze. Because then it would be something like that. And then I would just pull out thick white. So we're gonna do Old Olive. So the trick with coloring is you can get two-tone look. If you push harder on the areas where you want it to be a little darker, then you'll get a little bit darker variation. So I'm gonna do all my middles, and I'm a sloppy colorer. I am like a 2-year-old when I color. So as long as I stay in the lines, well, a 2-year-old might not stay in lines, but I don't do it like all over. I guess I know when I grab my blender pen out, I'm gonna be able to smooth it out. So when I'm actually doing this active coloring with my colored pencils, I'm very scribbly. And you'll see it's okay when I pull out that blender pen, because the blender pen is what's going to smooth everything out. So you can see I'm really scratchy with it. All of that, all those lines are gonna fade away. So coloring is one of those things that if you don't do it a lot, your arm's gonna be sore right through here. It's a thing. All right, so we've got all of our Old Olive, and then I'm gonna use the Coral. So Coral, and I feel like that should match those flowers nicely. So I went a little bit darker in the middle. Hi, Maria Gilbertson. Are you home finally? I know you were out west for a bit, helping the family, but hopefully you're being able to enjoy being home for a little bit. So the thing with colored pencils is you can mix and match colors too. You guys are probably thinking this looks like crap. Kind of does. Promise me. I mean, I promise you, it'll come together here. All right, but the thing with blends, colored pencils, I should say, you can mix and match colors. Now, she said I can't go dipping into the other color, and I would have, I would have pulled in Cherry Cobbler, but I'm not allowed to, so I can't pull in Cherry Cobbler. So what I'm gonna do is pull in, what do I wanna do? Maybe pull in some pumpkin or some real red. I wonder, because you can mix and match, and it'll be fine. So what we can do is add a little red here, because this red has a little bit of oranginess to it. And we're gonna mix in some red, some real red. Makes it just a little bit oranger. Okay, so I stayed within the color here. Now, you have to grab a blender pen. And, oh man, did it say we could use a blender pen? I think we can use a blender pen. If we're using watercolored pencils, it's implying that we can use blender pens, because you can't use watercolored pencils without a blender pen, in my book. So, disclaimer, I'm adding a blender pen. So these come in a pack of 3, and you can use either end. And what this does is it softens it. Hi, Rosie Prouty. Okay, so this is where the magic happens with watercoloring. So you can see how scratchy and scribbly it looks, right? So this is where the magic happens. Make sure that there's no color in here, and make sure it has some sort of a wetness to it, because sometimes they do dry out on you. The more solution that's in there, the better it's gonna be. So we're gonna start with this little guy. And I stamped it in brown, so you do have to be careful not to grab the brown ink, because if you grab the brown ink, it's gonna bring that brown ink into it. And brown ink has a tendency of leaving red in it, because I think there's some red dye in the brown. Okay, so that's that. I'm wondering if this side will be better. Oh man, that's not much better. I don't know if I have another one. Let me just see what this side does. So because I didn't go up all into those nooks and crannies, by pushing this around with the blender pen, it allows you to get your ink spread, or I shouldn't say ink, colored pencil to spread. Okay, so there's that side. So we're getting there. You can see how this magic is awesome. So you're pushing the colored pencil lead around. If it's lead, I don't know. See? So you can see that that side's done and this side is still in the works. You can use a water pen or just a wet paintbrush too. I'm guessing so, yeah. I did not use watercolor paper for this. So if you're gonna be using aqua painters like this, so water painters to push it around, or if you're gonna be using like a brush like that, you definitely would wanna consider using a thick vanilla, thick white, or watercolor. They used to have a shimmery white paper that was a little bit thicker too. That would have been fine. Just remember, when you're coloring stuff like this, you definitely want to make sure you don't pull in. I did not use a permanent ink. When you use a Stays-On pad, they have black, they have brown, you wouldn't have to worry. You could go over the whole thing. But because I did not use a permanent ink pad, my ink is just not permanent at all. So this brown would blend all over the place. So I'm just trying to avoid that. And you can see how awesome it's looking after you push this color around, just like that. Look at that, isn't that pretty? The leaves are just popping, very nice. Now these have a more, oh you can't even see, but these guys have more of a watery look to them. Like he's stalking around back and forth, he doesn't know what to do. All right, so there's this one, here he comes. He's coming this way, ooh, ooh, ooh. What you gonna do, buddy? Walk right over my stuff? Yeah, Mom, you're in my way. Hi. Hello, handsome kitten. What are you gonna do? You can't just stop right here. You guys, he's like right there. All right, hunky. The show must go on. Nothing to see here, officer. I'm not the officer. Bigger Tigger is. So Sarah Merchant called me yesterday. She's like, do your cats talk to each other? I'm like, yes, they certainly do. The cats always talk to each other, and they talk to me. So what I did here, you guys, is I took this piece of paper, and I'm wiping out the color. With these blender pens, you can use multiple colors, right? So now that that's done, we're going to go to the red. I only realized fairly recently how helpful it is to keep turning the paper. What a difference. Yeah, did you see that? I'm right-handed, so I turned this paper all over. I think I was doing that. So I'm gonna also, again, make sure, don't you be biting my stuff. You're going to wanna not hit the brown. So in here, I'm staying in between the brown lines. Hunky, you're gonna fall off of here, buddy. What are you doing? You're wrecking my paper. Mom, you're in my way. I live here. It's my house. Okay, Hunky Noodle, what's going on? Auntie Annette not keeping enough track of you? All right, so back here, we're going into here. Stay away from the brown. But I hope you guys can see how cool this is. So make sure to push. Make sure to push the color around. All right, there we go. So you see how crappy that looks? That one looks nice now. And you can always go back and touch up too if you want to push it a little bit further. All right, so there's this guy. If you guys don't do watercolor pencils, you might want to consider it. I personally wish that I should probably put it in the sandbox. I wish that they had a colored pencil for every Stampin' Up! Color. It would be so cool. I mean, I know a lot of colors can be very similar and used together, but it would be awesome to have every color. Maybe if we all put that in the sandbox at the same time, they'll do that for us. So do you see how scratchy I had it? And now all of a sudden, by pushing that color around, you gotta be really careful here in this middle area. If it starts to smear, just stay away from it. And you might pick up some of that brown ink in your tip, but. Okay, so I stayed away from the middle. It looks a little bit sloppy yet, so I'm just gonna try to do a really brief over that. Okay. And if you see any spots where you're like, oh man, I see pencil marks yet, you can go over it. And you just have to be careful because if you keep going over the same spot, your paper might get a little pilly. Okay, that's that. So I wish I would have done a before and after. I guess if I go back and watch the video, I could do like a screenshot of that before and then the after, which would be cool. You are doing a watercoloring class each day this week. Nice. Very cool. I hope you enjoy it lots. All right, so make sure to wipe out that marker tip. Now mine is getting kind of dry. I probably should just get a different one for here. All right, so here's where if you had dies in a die cutting machine, you could invest in, or you could use that because you've invested in it. Now I am told, per my instructions on the pin pad, that I cannot. So I need to fussy cut this. So I will do my best at fussy cutting this. And I am not consistent. Sometimes I'll get a little closer and sometimes I'll get a little further away. I like to leave a little bit of the vanilla margin or whatever color cardstock you have. I like to leave a little margin around the edges. I do like to get in as far as I can. And right now I didn't want to try to work in this area while this stuff was hanging here. So I'll make myself some room and then I'll come back in here and get in here as best I can to get that little leaf without trying to cut him off. Okay, so there we go on that. And I'll cut that off, 'cause then I can get in here better. And then let's finish this. So what I'm trying to do is figure out, will this look good over the top of the designer paper, or is it gonna look too busy? Now, regardless, I'm gonna be using this flower. I've done all the work and invested my time and energy into making this pretty little flower. And we're going to go with it. And then I think all we need to do is figure out what we're doing for a sentiment, and then we should be good to go. All right, so this. Now, some people don't like to leave the pointies, right? If you don't like that, all you can do is round your corners a little bit and get those points off. I don't mind the little pointies. Get that in there a little bit more. Okay. Just like that. So we've got that ready to go. Now this could be potentially used for our sentiment if we need that. All right, let's get this in the garbage and bring back the pile of stuff that we were looking at, which is right here. Okay. So I could have brought in some cherry cobbler. I might have toned down the oranginess of this because this isn't quite matchy-matchy, but it's close. You know, I'm so good at fussy cutting. I move the paper. I don't move my scissors so much. I think that might be why. So let's look at this. That kind of gets lost. I'm gonna zoom out a little. That kind of gets lost a little bit over the top of that. I do see that. Now, if I put this over the top of that, it doesn't get lost. And we could stamp our sentiment right on here and go back to the basics of what Gina's trying to get us to do. Though I could potentially use that paper around here as an edge. I think you'll see a little bit. And the other option, let's see here. This is coral. I want to see what coral looks like because that's kind of what I used for my colors of blends. I could, if I'm not going to be using this as a focal point, I wonder what coral would look like instead of, I'm changing my color possibly. We're doing a wardrobe change, maybe. Let's just see here what coral looks like. Because that is coral, right? I colored with coral. I didn't color with Cajun Craze. Is there a Cajun Craze? Was there a Cajun Craze in here? Oh, there is. Oops. So here's the deal. This is what made it hard. If I would have used Cajun Craze, I'm not going to. That's not even open. Hang on, I have a second one here. If I would have used Cajun Craze like this, I would have gotten more of the Cajun Craze going on. So after the show is done, I might go, and you can always add color to this. I could take Cajun Craze and go over the top of this and give it that more burnt look, okay? So that does match better. But what I was trying to see is, would that match nice with this? Okay, here you guys are at the eye doctor. I was just there yesterday and I got to do this with the eye doctor. Do you like option 1? I am gonna sponge the edges of this vanilla, or do you like the Cajun with it? And I'm gonna guess you guys are gonna like the coral because the coral actually matches, it brightens it up. So I think if you're gonna be with me, you're gonna be with me at the eye doctor, you're gonna choose option 1. I think we're gonna make this work like this. Because I think It'll be a bright, cheerful card. We're gonna add a little gold ribbon. We'll stamp a sentiment up there. I think we'll be good to go. All right, so I haven't seen anybody vote quite yet. You're probably just a few seconds behind me. Oh yeah, you're just watching it right now. Okay, so I'm gonna probably switch gears and go to coral. Now, the olive was perfect, but unfortunately this had granny and garden green, and those two colors to me weren't the best choices for our foliage here. Yep, you guys are with option 1. Okay, so here's what we got then. Now that we know what we're doing, we're going to grab a full sheet of Calypso coral, and we're going to cut it. Oh, look at this. This might be exactly what we need. Let's measure this. We need 5.5 by 8.5, which we know it is, and then scored at 4.25. Oh, you guys, my scoring thing fell out like a month ago and I haven't found it yet. Okay, so pretend I scored that. And what it needs to do is get folded in half. Right, like that. I'll grab that bone folder. Oh, you guys are choosing 1. Perfect. All right, we're all on the same page. All right, so let's go back to our measurements here. We need vanilla inside, and we're gonna do vanilla actually for our mat. So we need 5.25. Well, I didn't push very hard, I guess. My strength was not with me. Okay, there that is. And by 4 for our inside. And then we need another one. So I like to consume or use the factory edge as much as possible. So I'll flip this around and cut off the cut edge, right? As long as the factory edge is not bent or warped or bad in any way. But I try to save that factory edge as much as possible. Oh, I did this backwards. Okay, hang on. The designer paper is going to be 5.25 by 4. So we'll cut 4 here by 5.25. And then I'm going to use this. So instead of DSP and pattern paper, she said you can also use cardstock. That piece is 5 by 3.25. 3 3/4. So I got to cut a little off of here. I might even make it less. So let's just see what it looks like by 3 3/4. All right, so we've got our base. We're gonna use our designer paper, a sad. Okay, so I know Mary Lemke, you're watching. If you guys wanna know what Mary Lemke would do, what would Mary do? She would die cut something out of the middle of here, or somehow grab some of this middle out to use it for something else. And then this right here is matted over the top. And then there's a flower here. Now, we could, and this is what I was thinking, this is my inside, there's a lot of vanilla, and we could potentially have less of it. Now, this is where it comes to being creative and using a starting point for a recipe and then making it your own. So on this right here, I've got some stamps that we could use. There's a happy birthday here. So this happy birthday could still fit right about here. And if my flower is on the side here, now I changed my card too to be horizontal. If I wanted it vertical, I could have this be down here in the corner, but there's no sentiment from this. The thanks could be here, but I'm feeling and sensing this, and my happy birthday could go here. And when I see this, I think I could cut a little bit off of here and a little bit off of here and let some more of the designer paper shine through. So with that being said, I think what I'll do is cut off 1/2 inch. You guys remember, we just said that you can change things if you want to. It's your card now once you start making it. That's the great thing about starting with something and then getting the feeling of changing it and making it your own. So by doing this, it allows more of the designer series paper to be highlighted or seen, which is what I was going for. And then I could still add my flower here. And then I can still stamp my happy birthday right there, okay? Now, I'm thinking of making a little double bow and putting it here. And then there's some space here. There's enough space for gems, but I like her idea of bringing out a dauber or a blending brush, and we can sponge the edges of this and we could potentially splatter. So I'm gonna go with this. I'm not gonna overthink it anymore, right? We've got a plan. So let's go with our plan now. And Paige and Craze, I'm so sorry, you get to go home and be there for another day. All right, so we need Happy birthday. I am sensing and feeling espresso ink would be good versus my Cajun Craze. And I'm going to stamp this first. You can use an X-Acto knife to cut a bit out of the center. Yes, you could. If you didn't have a die or a punch, you could use an X-Acto. You could also, you guys, I could show you this too. I don't know if you guys know this too, but I'll show you what you could also do. So we have to, this is just a side thing. It's not part of the class really, but just to show you, you could do this. So if you stay an inch in, right? You could, if you wanted, you could use this trimmer. It's perfect for this. So we know that this is 4 inches. So if you go to the 3-inch mark and you start at 1 inch down and you go to 1 inch up if you wanted, right? So there's 1 inch, and then this is 5 1/4. So if you go to 4 1/4 and you go 1 inch down and 1 inch here, right? And then if you go here at 3 and you go down to 1 inch. I don't know if you guys have ever done this. If you don't have a die or a punch, you could do it this way too, right? So I've just cut this out of the middle. It's a perfect little rectangle, and no one will ever know the difference. You just gotta make sure you leave enough of a border gap here, so this guy will still fit over the top of this. Okay. Annette, here, do you want to take this? It's Shelly. She wants to know if she can come over and do some die cutting. You can tell her that I'll be done in like 20 minutes or so. So this would go over this, and now you've just saved to this, right? So there's just another way to get stuff out of the middle, which is fine. All right, so we've got this, we've got that. Now I was going to stamp my happy birthday. All right, I like the bigger border. I really wanted that designer paper to be seen and showcased. So we're going to stamp this, and you guys can see this. Yep. Happy birthday right here. Right there. Let's see if that's straight. Okay, and that looks kind of straight to me, so I'm good with that. And on the inside, so our inside mat, there is this little flower. Now it says happy birthday. Thanks. Oh, is she still, is this her? Oh, I have another call coming in. Okay.
She's already here.
Yeah.
So I said you can come in and wait.
Yeah.
But you can't.
Yeah, okay, this little flower here. Now, this will be perfect for the inside focal image. We could also use designer series paper and put that along the bottom. But here's this thing that I just realized. There's no good saying for the inside. Can't wait to see you again. That doesn't really, can't wait to see you again soon. Doesn't really go with happy birthday. You made my day is more with the thanks. So these two go together and the outer two go together, but there's no sentiment for the happy birthday. So unfortunately, because I can't use another stamp set in front of you guys, otherwise I would be breaking the rules. That means I'll have to stamp a sentiment later somewhere. So there we go. Now this, I am not going to use Cajun Craze because that's not my color anymore. So I'm going to grab my Calypso Coral, and we're going to get the little thing here. We ink up a little like that. I think we said we could use aqua painters because we're using, yeah, we're just gonna use an aqua painter. If you don't have an aqua painter, it's okay. You just have to put a drip of water onto here. She said we could use Stella. Come on, drip, drip, drip. Whoa, hello kitten. You're not gonna be cooperating with me, are you? Hang on, that one's not happy. So let's grab this guy and see if he's happy. Hello, kitten. You almost put your paws in some coral. Oh, you want my chair. You guys watch this action. That's how fast that works. You stand up for a hot second, and the kitten takes the chair. And he burrows in and takes it. Just like that, you guys. I lost it. I stood up for 20 seconds, and I lost my chair. All right, but that's okay, hunky. I can stand. Don't worry. You take the chair. I'll be fine. So we're going to splatter. Splattering is a messy business. So what we're going to do is take that Stella pen. She said you could use Stella. You dip in here and grab a bone folder. Let's move this out of the way too. Dip in, and now there's a lot of blank space on here for me. And I like a little bit less darkness. So this is a super cool technique. Gina Bulow, my bestie, Stampin' Bestie, sent me or taught me how to do this. And what it does is it fills in that blank space with a random splotchy pattern. Right, so we can use Stella. You can add, but you can't take away, FYI. So when you get to have as much as you want, stop, and then see how it looks. And so we added some splotches like that, right? Now there's some empty area over there. Can I get that there without adding too much? Well, because it doesn't really always go where you want it to go. So there, all right, we got it. Now we also talked about sponging the edges. So let me grab a dauber from right here. And I am a fan of the daubering of the edges. So I could use this ink on the side versus dipping into my ink pad. So this is another way to add some color to the edges. I generally hold the paper in my hand and I'm going like this, right? Some people take and put it flat and hover over and kind of put it on that way. I like to hold it. I am not consistent about it because if you try to be consistent, all of a sudden you're going to get, whoa, way too much like that. So if you do that all over the place, you're going to be happier because it's going to look like you meant to do that. Okay. So this is just adding a little bit of color, softening the edges. Perfect. Okay. So now we've got that done. So let's put that back on here and see what we got. See, that softens that. The splotchies helped. And then we've got our flower on here. And what we're going to do is just figure out what we're going to do for a bow and add some gems. Okay, so we're keeping it traditional like she wanted us to. Now, for the Stella pen, all you have to do is wipe that out and you're good to go. You want to start with it fresh. All right, so now this can get glued down. I will leave it blank. Yes, handwrite the birthday. You are correct. You'll know when we photograph this card and put it out there on the event. All right, so here's that. You guys saw that I flipped it around because the flowers did have a direction to me. So I wanted to make sure I had them facing the right way. We can pop this up. She said we could use whatever dimensionals we want. So I know that sometimes when you add height to it, it makes it that it gets to be over 1/4 of an inch, and then you might have to pay more postage, but generally these are always my samples and I just like height. And if you hand deliver cards, you don't have to worry about that anyways. All right, so now we're just gonna pick these all off. Perfect, and one more right there. Okay, so this is gonna go right in the middle, so no one will ever know that that middle got cut out. Just center that. And then I'm gonna also pop up my flower in some random spots here. Like that, okay? Oh, hunky noodle boy. Guys, he was stalking me, right? Did you know that? How many times he went in the camera? And we never usually see Hunky on the camera. So we're gonna put that right there. And then I sense a little bow right here. I think I'm gonna use vanilla. It has warmed up to 55 today, nice. Okay, so we're gonna, I think we'll go, it was between vanilla and crumb cake. Linen thread could also work too, but let's grab, I'm thinking vanilla. All right, so the bow makers are amazing, you guys. If you're in the US and you'd like to get your hands on a bow maker, they are $10 plus shipping, and my person that I used to babysit his kids, he makes them for me. So I have them here, and they are also, you could see the extra stuff that I have in my beekeeper's guide. I have a section in here for tools. I think it's back here further. Maybe like right here. There's a section for the exclusive tools. So I've got the bow maker there in case anybody's ever interested. I did a whole bow maker video on how to use the bow maker. It's like 23 minutes long. We're gonna do, what are we gonna do? We're gonna do a smaller one and we're gonna make it a double bow. So I'm gonna whoop and roop, and you know what? How about a triple bow? We'll go 3 times around. Make it go down just a little bit further so it's a little wider. My nails go in a little further because the holes have gotten worn, so the nails don't quite go up and down. That goes there. All right. Grab your ribbon scissors and trim those tails. Grab a glue dot, and we're gonna put that. There's a spot right there that looks perfect to put a bow. So we're gonna put this right here, and put that little bow right there. Like that. Okay. Nice, I like it. And then we've got our gemsies. Mary said, I wonder if I could make bows with my cribbage board. Ha, you sure could. I'd bet you money that you could. How does that sound? You should try it. Okay, and then we've got these petal pink gems. Now, they're not as bright as I'd probably want them to be, but I guess this is what I picked. I'm sensing I might have picked these kind of gems right here, these pressed motif gems would actually have looked prettier on here because I think they would have brought out the espresso. And so, so I'll put this on here so you guys can kind of see. It gets lost on the vanilla. It's there, like you can see it, but I think, because I do get to pick one pack of gems, I would have picked this, like definitely these guys right here. This brown, these are the pressed motif gems that you'll get in your ink paper scissors. I would have put like 1, 2, like 3 of them over here, and maybe one. I would have put 5 of them on here. I think they would stand out better. So I think that I can do that. I think I can hold the phone. The gold would really have been pretty on here too. But we're good with the vanilla bowl. So I think I want to wait and put on the gems. I think that would look a little bit better because it's still coming from one pack. I just didn't happen to have them here with me. And I don't know, I'll just take 20 seconds and look over here. I don't think I have any. Ha. Ha, ha, ha. No, I don't know if these are current or not, but these are what they had in the past. They're called adhesive back texture dots. I don't know if they're current or not, but these would do the trick too. I don't know, something like that. The brown stands off better, I think. Okay, so these are my gem of choice for this one. Totally nulling and voiding these. They still look great with the sweet, but if I get to pick one pack of gems, I would pick those because they show off better. So that's the sad thing about not knowing necessarily what you're gonna do until you're into it. So that's why it's nice to have more than like 1 or 2 packs of gems sitting at home. But this was great because you could pick whatever color you wanted of that. So, all right, we did it. So I do have a little bit of Stella and this coral in my pen here. What I could do is use this. You can see here what it's doing is it's adding a little bit more color to it. So you can, instead of using a blender pen, you could have used a Stella pen. There's a little bit more wetness in this pen, so it's making it blend a little bit better. If you can see what it's doing, it's so cool. And it's helping me also wipe out the pen. There it is. Okay. Awesome. All right. Whew. We got her done. So you wipe out that Stella pen. Hopefully, I keep a Stella pen on standby that's not really full of Stella anymore. I just use it for coloring, watercoloring. So you want to get that color out of here though, so that doesn't go to the next one. Okay. So are you guys ready to see what Jean did for her card? I am. Let's zoom out so that you guys can see here. We did good. I'm glad we splattered, and I'm glad that we added the, oh, we gotta glue our inside in yet. Lovely. Thanks, guys. Okay, let's glue you in. If I decide I want to put happy birthday sentiment in, I can. And if I want to write a love note, I definitely can do that too. Oh, the other thing, you could have definitely colored that in as well. Just got home to catch the end. Wonderful. And I will catch the way. Perfect. Okay, so you guys ready to see Jean's card? So Jean mailed, it says she has 2 samples here. Sample 1 and sample 2. So let's do number 1 first. So got my handy dandy little bee opener here. And we'll do this right off the bat too. Let's see what they look like. I'm picturing hers being vertical, you guys. All right, so she has here, "You are remarkable," is what she used. Ooh, basic beige cardstock, crumb cake cardstock, and the beautiful gallery designer paper. Okay, so that she used a lighter designer series paper to stamp on too. She used ink of crumb cake and peach pie, antique pearls, and linen thread. Very pretty. And friends are flowers in the garden of life. And she used basic beige on the inside. Very nice. She sponged around the edges, right? So you can see that. She sponged them up. She also sponged around the edges of this a little bit. Very cool. Okay, so that's hers, number 1. And then she's got a second card here. Oh, very cool. So the difference, it looks like, is she added a little rectangle here, and linen thread got put behind it. And then she didn't put it on the flower. Very good. Yay, awesome. Nice cards, pretty. So she used "You Are Remarkable." So we both went with flowers. She kept hers vertical like her instructions, and I just switched mine to horizontal. If I would have flipped this and put it down here, the happy birthday would have gone across the top. I would have had seems more empty space. So I'm glad I kept mine horizontal like I wanted to. Cool, very cool. Awesome sauce. So that's what we got for the share a recipe, create a card, and inspire others. Nice. Does I miss any comments? And like that's good. You guys, I'm doing this while I'm standing here. He's still there. He's gonna sleep here now for a few hours. I must say, he doesn't move once he gets hunkered in. So you guys, we'll finish this off. So we're all good. So we did good. We used, again, Charming Day for the stamps. I pulled in the Charming, I think it's called Floral Charm Designer Series paper. I opted to switch from those gems to other gems that I believe are retired now, but they were more brown. And then I used the Essentials Baker's Twine. Very cool. All right, so you guys got to see lots of stuff. I don't know if I can do this. Hang on, let's just go like this. I'm not going to get my chair back, you guys. So I think we're good. We have game night tomorrow night, and I'm pretty certain. Oh my God, it's hunky. You're just move you over there. Okay, we've got game night tomorrow night, and we'll start right at 6. I'm almost positive now everybody has their lucky numbers in, which is so cool. Not like, yeah, your lucky numbers. You pick 5 lucky numbers between 1 and 30. So those are all for what we're going to use for game night tomorrow night. We're making 4 cards tomorrow night featuring the sweet jars. So that tutorial should be coming. Jolene had told me that she thought she'd have it done yesterday already. So I'm anticipating that in my inbox today. So we should have that out. So if anybody wants to pre-cut any of their designer paper, or if they want to do any of their stamping ahead, it's a doozy. I did this class in person on Monday night. It was called Lucky Hand on Monday night. And there were 7 of us. Well, not including me. There were 7 people that took the class. And there were, for 1 hour, it took us to do all of the stamping and all of the sentiments and cutting the paper. I had 1 stamp set. So for you guys doing it at home, it shouldn't be that crazy, but we're going to start off class with going through and doing all the stamping right off the bat and cutting our designer paper. And then we'll start making the 4 cards. And the 4 cards are lickety-split, easy to make once we get the stamping and the paper cutting done. So just be prepared for that. If you like to make your cards with me, you could pre-stamp. As soon as you get the tutorial, you could pre-stamp anything for the cards and cut your designer paper. Or you can do it and follow along with me in class too. That works as well. So yay. I do have spots left. I think at this moment I have less than a dozen left. I know that Patsy just signed up for it yesterday, and I had 7 instead of 6 for in-person. So I think that there's like about 10 to 12 left. I can't tell you exactly, but there's plenty. So if you're going into game night and wishing you would have gotten the Sweet Jars class with me, like, you still have an opportunity to. we'll go over the prizes tomorrow night. Kelly will be with me tomorrow night, so she helps me run the class, which is pretty cool. And it takes a little bit longer. So just for prepared, class tomorrow night is probably going to be about 3 hours versus 2 to 2.5, because we play 5 games of lucky numbers and we make the cards, and there's paper cutting and lots of stamping. So yeah, be prepared for tomorrow night. It's gonna be a little bit longer of a night. I'm trying to mentally prepare myself too. And I was thinking about doing Happy Mail with you, but I've got a couple gals here that are looking to do something. Annette's here helping me with some paper scoring and sending out the two-tone cardstock. You guys, I got one more batch of it in, so she's helping me lay that out. And Shelly's here to do some die cutting for herself. So I want to get them guys situated. And so I was going to go over Happy Mail. And I think what I need to do, there's just so much Happy Mail. It's going to take me at least a half hour to 45 minutes to go through it, which is great, you guys. I just think putting it on the back end or the front end of a class might be a little bit tiring or cumbersome for me. So I think what I might need to do at this point is just carve out a half hour to 45 minutes in the near future, and we'll just call it like showcase of cards, and we'll go through them that way. So I think that'll be better for me, because we've already been at it for an hour and a half, and it's morning yet, you guys. I haven't even finished my coffee. I'm maybe not at 8 cylinders, but I'm at 6 now. Did you tell I got better as the class went on? I got warmed up. Makes me realize that it's really hard for me to do 10 o'clock classes. So, and Michelle's really excited for game night. Yay. Great recipe. Yeah, you guys, a round of applause to Jean Terwilliger. She did a great job sending us a challenge that I think was exciting and not intimidating, but it really makes you stretch your imagination to not be able to use die cutting or embossing folders, and you still have pretty cards. Just know when you have designer series paper, that designer paper can help speak for itself, and it can do wonders. I am just so happy I cut that vanilla piece down that allowed that paper to actually, you could see the pattern poking through the side then. So just know whenever you get any kind of recipe or see any kind of card, wherever you're inspired, you can change that stuff. It's always great. Start with an idea and then run with it. That it allows you to use your creativity, and you might think you're not creative and you want to copy it. Exactly. Go for it too. The main thing is to get out there and stamp and make your cards and feel good about making something and then giving it to somebody, right? That's the whole full circle process, which is awesome. All right. You're very welcome, Mary Novak. Let's see if I missed any. You guys, I was trying to follow comments, but sometimes when I get into this class, I don't always follow the comments as fast. So, and Leslie said she sent a request. I think I saw that. So I've got you on my list, Leslie and Sherry Everett. I will try to pull that stuff today, and I'll put that in with your August class packages. I think our date for August shipping, let me just see here. We've got it set for August 12th. So we're in the thick of designing right now. And then we're going to start kitting next week and into the following week. And then by the 12th, I think we're going to have everything for August shipped out. So I don't remember what is going on that first week of August. So, but there might be like one class that stuff isn't in your hands for class, but right after that, everything else will follow, that you guys will be on track. Go enjoy the rest of your day. So what we're working on the rest of the day is we're finishing off the last couple cards for the ink, paper, scissors that we are, there's like just a few more cards to make that we're going to put in the PDF tutorial. And I've got some shipments to do today. I think I have about 5 or 6 shipments that I got to still get out and then run over the post office. I've got class tonight. We have the Kintsugi class tonight, and I have 8 people that will be here at 6. So in like about 6 hours, I got class again. So yeah, we'll find lots of things to work on, you guys. We're prepping and getting all this stuff ready for the helpers. As soon as we design the class, we got to start pulling the card stock. And you guys get your orders in for the free shipping. Don't wait till the end, because as days pass, things go out of stock. And so I don't want you guys to miss any of your things that you want. So get your free shipping orders in. Just note that you can double dip. You place your order that's over $75 with me as your demonstrator. You can also pick a free class that is offered free with a minimum order. So not ink, paper, scissors, and not Stamp-A-Stack, but let's just stamp, the suite class, and the monthly class. Those are always ones that you can pick free with an order. So go do the kit now. Okay, so Michelle, if you want to message me that too, that would be awesome, so that I see that, and I'll send you a grand total then what to send. All right, and I know you wanted I have the Winter Creative Escape from January still available. And yes, you can definitely get that in September instead of getting that in August. there's a lot of other things you're getting in August. So we can break things up. No problem. You guys, I'm easy peasy lemon squeezy. As long as you're happy, I'm happy. Great class. Thanks for sharing. You're very welcome. All right, you guys, lots of sunshine, love, and big, sorry about this. Hunky's still sleeping here, but I feel kind of weird like hovering over, but lots of sunshine, love, and big hugs to you. We learned that our kittens are comfortable. We don't move the kittens. We let them be happy, even though it makes it uncomfortable for us, right? That's what we do with pets. So, all right, lots of sunshine, love, and big hugs, you guys. We'll see you tomorrow night. Love you. Bye.